Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we continue reading from the Bhagavad-Gita, Canto 7, Chapter 11, The Perfect Society for Social Classes. Text 32. Vritya, with the profession. Swabhava kritaya, performed according to one's modes of material nature. Vartmana, existing. Swakarma krit, executing his own work. Hitva, giving up. Swabhavajam, born from one's own modes of nature. Karma, activities. Shanai, gradually. Nirgunatam, transcendental position. Yat, may attain. Vritya Swabhava Kritaya, Vartmana Swakarma Krit, Hitva Swabhava Jam Karma, Sanay Nirgunatam Iyat. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki. If one acts in his profession according to his position in the modes of nature and gradually gives up these activities, he attains the Niskama stage. Everyone please repeat after me. If one acts in his profession according to his position in the modes of nature and gradually gives up these activities, he attains the Niskama stage. Purport. If one gradually gives up his hereditary customs and duties and tries to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his natural position, he is gradually able to become free from these activities, and he attains the stage of Niskama, freedom from material desires. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport, Canto 7, Chapter 11, Text 32 of the Bhagavad-Gita, The Perfect Society for Social Classes. Om Jnanam Timirandasya Jnana Jnana Shalakaya Chakshuro Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kodamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurung Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Visabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kipa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Britya Subhava Kritaya Vartmana Swakarma Krit Hidva Swabhava Jam Karma Sanay Nirghunatang Iya. If one acts in his profession according to his position in the modes of nature and gradually gives up these activities, he attains the Niskama stage. So everyone has to act according to the modes that he acquires from the previous lifetime or lifetimes. No one can do otherwise. Otherwise, he will not be acting according to his propensity. Ultimately, everyone has to act in such a way that everything will be dovetailed to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, all of his activities will bind him in this material world. Yajñartat karmano nyatra lokayam karma bandhana tad artam karma konteya pukta sangha samachara. All the sacrifices and all the activities has to be performed for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. Otherwise, one's actions will bind one in this material world. And if he acts according to the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, then the result is liberation. So the human form of life is very precious. After coming to so many lifetimes of different species, according to the Shastras, there are 8,400,000 species of life. And the human form of life is such a small percentage. According to the Shastras, there are 900,000 species in the aquatics, about 2 million in vegetables, 1,100,000 worms and reptiles, 1 million as birds, 3 million as beasts, and 400,000 human form of life. And still, in the human form of life, still divided. Some are civilized and some are uncivilized. Mostly uncivilized, because civilized means Aryan race. Aryan race, according to the scriptures, means those who know the purpose of human form of life, to go back home, back to Godhead, to perform their activities for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. But not many knows this. Hardly even 1% of the entire population of human form. So, in the society, since time immemorial, it's been divided into 4 classes: social, or occupational duties. This is what we call the Varna. So we're in this episode from the Srimad Bhagavatam. 4 social classes. And we've been hearing this for the last few weeks or so. This Varna or social classes is there. It's automatically it is there. Some they act according to their nature, but some they don't. They just somehow kind of assert a certain kind of occupation because they think that they belong there, even though they're not qualified. So the qualification is not by birth. It's like here in India, there's what you call caste system. If my father is a judge, therefore I am also a judge. I belong to a Brahman family, therefore I am also a Brahmana. That is not the real one. This is what you call, it is also part of the society, but the real one is that they act according to their nature that they acquired, and they should act according to the character, the work that they belong to. We've been hearing for the last few days this Varnashram program. Of course, there's what I also called in the next chapter, only a few more texts here, slokas. 3 more, 33, 34, 35. Then we'll enter into the 4 spiritual classes. These occupational duties, or Varna, is comprised under the modes of material nature. As long as we are in this material world, we will act according to the modes of material nature. There is this Brahmana class, or the intellectual class, the Kshatriyas, or the administrators, or the warriors, protectors. There is the Vaishyas, the mercantile, agriculture, specifically, businessmen. And there is the Sudras. Sudras are the laborer class. Those are the mode of goodness that are in the Brahminical culture. Those in the modes of goodness and passion, they're in the Vaishyas. Those in the mode of passion, Kshatriyas. And those in the mode of ignorance, Sudras. And we've heard from the Shastras, in the age of Kali, everyone is a Sudra. So, the Krishna consciousness movement, established by Srila Prabhupada to help the conditioned souls to elevate themselves, not just to be in the human platform, but to be in the spiritual platform. And yes, it's a revolutionary movement aimed to elevate one's consciousness irregardless of one's occupational duty. This is what we call Daivi Varnashram. Everyone acts accordingly to their propensities, but the whole aim is to please Krishna. Nowadays, everyone is acting, even though they're not properly situated according to their position, but they perform their activities only meant to please their senses, to enjoy materially. And therefore, they acquire or accrue karma. There are 3 kinds of this: karma, akarma, and vikarma. Karma means acting according to the prescribed method, according to the scriptures, but the reward is material profit. It says in the Shastras that if one perform pious activities for 100 lifetimes, he can become Lord Brahma. That means following your varna, okay? But not with the aim of fulfilling the instructions of the Supreme Lord to please Him. Then you can elevate yourself, you can go to the heavenly planets. There's vikarma. Vikarma means actions which is contrary to the scriptures, performing sinful activities. And therefore, one has to suffer repeated birth and death, going back again and again to samsara, take birth in different species of life. And if by fortune, will come again to the human form of life. And then there's what you called akarma. Akarma means action for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. That means spiritual activities. It's like here in our society, all of our activities are focused to give pleasure to the Supreme Lord. So irregardless of what we're doing, whether one is doing accountings, Prabhupada's accountings, whether one is distributing books, whether one is ringing the bell, doing puja for the lordships, whether one is acting as the president, one main purpose is to please Krishna. And therefore, everyone is equal. This is what I call Daivi Varnashram. One can have a position, just like here we have in Vrindavan, we have a farm, not very far from here. So we have devotees there tilling the land, planting vegetables. And therefore, if it's meant, what they're doing is for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, ultimately that will free them from the cycle of repeated birth and death. So the qualification of bhakti or devotional service is that a devotee should be free from all material contaminations or material desires. Niskama. Freedom from material desires. Ultimately. So in the beginning, one may have the propensity to enjoy while performing bhakti. Actually, he's not performing bhakti. He's just trying to perform bhakti. But at the same time, he wants material desires to be fulfilled. This is what you call prakrita bhakta. If somehow he continues performing his activities, he'll get purified. Not that after attaining or fulfilling material desires, he will forget bhakti. Then there is no hope for him. He has to suffer for that. Just like while chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, many material desires come in to their mind. But we should still keep chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And don't stop thinking that, oh, what is this? I'm supposed to be becoming free from material desires. It's like the other day, one devotee asked me, Maharaj, how can you give up anarthas? I'm finding it very difficult. Anarthas coming in. Yes, we think that we don't have any more anarthas, but still it is there. It's not fructified yet. As soon as we think that I don't have any more material desires, we are in big problem. We're being deluded, tricked by Maya. So I told him, just be sincere, continue chanting. Don't stop chanting. This will go away after some time. Have faith and Nam Prabhu. Even though we have material desires, we should not stop the process. This is the only process. There is no other process besides this. You cannot do it otherwise. One may perform tapasya up in the Himalayas, submerge oneself in the month of, right now, winter, up to here, trying to kill the desires, performing many ritualistic ceremonies. It's like even in the summer, some yogis, they put burning coals all over themselves. It's already over 100 degrees. And still they want to kill that desires. It cannot be killed. Desires will always be there. Yes, we should be desireless. But desireless means spiritual desires. We should kill the material desires. That is desireless. Desire to fulfill the instructions of Guru and Krishna. That is killing the material desires. So we can come to that platform after some time. It is prescribed in the scriptures that yes, we have to perform tapasya in order to elevate our consciousness. But this kind of tapasya is not the material tapasya. Specifically, brahmacharya is prescribed. If one wants to get out of this material world, one has to perform or practice brahmacharya. Becoming free from the attraction towards the opposite sex. And that is very difficult. Because that is the nature of this world, to be attracted towards the opposite sex. We just have to transfer that attraction towards Krishna. Everything is a counterpart. Material activities can be transformed if we dovetail all of our actions for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. Then it becomes spiritualized. Attraction towards material objects, which culminates towards the opposite sex, should be transferred towards the deities. Especially the grihastas. They are prescribed to perform deity worship so that Krishna becomes the center of the family. All of their activities, everything is dovetailed for Krishna. Otherwise becomes grihamedi, sense enjoyment. Grihastha life means license for sense enjoyment. But license means you cannot be reckless. It's like, well, in India they give license so easily. You don't have to know what are the rules, but there's no rules anyway. You pass the test, you'll get your license so easily, but then the result, many accidents. So similarly in spiritual life, there are also restrictions that one has to follow, one has to be regulated. It's not because one is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then he can do anything and everything he likes. Grihastas especially, because of this license for sense enjoyment, it's still limited. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, you cannot have too much salt or very little salt. You have to have some salt. In one form of life, you have to have some enjoyment, but it has to be restricted. For the devotees, our enjoyment are kirtan, harikatha, and prasadam. Especially prasadam. Others may not be so enjoying, but when it comes to prasadam, everyone would like to have. So, spiritual life is very precious. And if somehow we don't know what we should be doing, then enters the scriptures and the spiritual master, the Guru. If we don't know, we're not sure what is our propensity, what kind of activities we should perform to please Krishna. Because we have to be properly situated. And Guru usually, he knows. He knows the psychophysical analysis the mentality of the disciple, where the disciple can use all of his propensities to serve Krishna, to please Krishna to the highest limit. So we should not be choosy also. Whatever Guru tells us to do, we should try to follow. And along with the instructions of Guru, the mercy, the kripa, to enable for us to fulfill that instructions will be there. A Vaisnava, he can do anything and everything. He's all around. He can do puja, he can do preaching, he can do cleaning the pots, he can cook, he can do accounting, he can do everything. But sometimes we're so a little choosy what we should be doing, even though we're not supposed to do it. We think we can do it. So just like yesterday's purport, it's better to do your duty properly than do others' duty. You can do others' duty properly, but then you're not supposed to do it, then it doesn't count. It's better to do your duty even though it's not up to the mark, but then Krishna is pleased. Arjuna is a Kshatriya, but then he wants to go to the forest and just renounce because he doesn't want to fight. But he says, no, you have to fight even though it is against your will. You fight for my pleasure. So we do everything for the pleasure of Krishna, and therefore we become free from material desires. So gradually, if we follow this, then we can become into the platform of spiritual. And this is the whole purpose. This is what we're trying to introduce to the whole world. This process that regardless of what propensity one may have, but if it's dovetailed for the pleasure of Krishna, everyone is entitled to this mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the disciplic succession. Para upakar. We're not just meant to create Brahminical culture. Of course, that is the goal. But very few will be in that category. Not everyone is Brahmana. No. Some will be happy taking care of our cows. It's like we have Goshala here. We have 450 cows. We have cow protection. We have farming. So we try to introduce this to everyone. We give respects to every members of our society, irregardless of what kind of activities they perform for the pleasure of Krishna. The so-called Varnashram that they are adhering, they don't. If you are Brahmana, that means you are high and the others are low. No, it's not like that. Everyone is equal. I'll stop on that one. I'm going to talk about Noka Vihar. So today commemorates the annual program that we've been doing here in Krishna Balaram Mandir for many, many years. During the hot season, of course not hot yet, Krishna, along with his cowherd boyfriends and his cowherd girlfriends, they will do frolic in the different areas in Vrindavan, but specifically Yamuna, kundas, body of waters, all over Vrindavan, all over Vraj. And there are many of them all over Vrindavan. Yamuna is 100 times more potent than Ganga. Yamuna originated from Yamuna tree up in the Himalayas. And it flows up to here. Flows passing by Delhi. Comes through here. Ganga can give liberation, but Yamuna is 100 times more potent, beneficial if one takes bath in the Yamuna, because Lord Krishna performed his pastimes in the water of Yamuna, and therefore one can attain love of God by doing so. When Srimati Radharani heard that Lord Krishna is coming to the material world, and Lord Krishna asked Radharani also, "You come with me." And she said, "I will only come with you if Yamuna will be there, if Govardhan will be there, and the dust of Vrindavan will be there." So the three very potent items that one can give love of God in Kali Yuga or in this material world. But Yamuna is going also. By the end of Kali Yuga, no more Yamuna, no more Govardhan Hill, sinking one mustard seed, the size of mustard seed every day. The only thing that will remain with us is Brajaraj, which is so potent. Even the demigods, they will want to come and roll on the dust. Even Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, he wanted to be just even a blade of grass, even within the boundary or outside of the boundary of Vrindavan, so that by fortune, when the Brajabasis will walk, then some of this dust will fall on his head. So many pastimes were described in the scriptures. There is one in Gopal Champu by Jiva Goswami, where the pastime happened in Manasaganga. Now Manasaganga is in Govardhan. It is the largest kunda, largest body of water. In those days, 5,000 years ago, it's about 8 miles in diameter. But because, as we mentioned earlier, it corresponds. Because Govardhan Hill is sinking one mustard seed every day, therefore, everything is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. So if it's 8 miles, this is a long, huge body of water, very wide, and therefore there's a lot of boats there. Manasaganga came from the mind, wish of Lord Krishna, because there was one demon named Vatsasura, very fierce, very ugly looking demon, but he disguised himself as a small calf, baby calf. If any one of you have witnessed a baby calf, you'll fall in love with cows. Yes, to go back to Goloka Vrindavan, you have to develop love of cow, because that's the, you know, the inhabitants of Vrindavan means mostly cows. And Lord Krishna understood. He was just a young boy. At that time, he was given the care of the small calves. He started first with small calves. So this demon disguised himself as Vatsasura, but Krishna noticed this baby calf is not part of the herd. And he told Balaram, "See that calf? He's a demon. Watch out for him." And so actually, Vatsasura came not just to kill Krishna, he came to kill everyone. He came to kill Balaram, Krishna, and all the cowherd boys. But to go ahead and protect the calves and everyone, Krishna got a hold of his legs, the hind legs, and then it started to thrill and thrill and thrill, and the demon, baby calf, becomes dizzy, and then he shoot him on the top of, it says, Kapil tree. I don't know if it's Kapil tree. Dead, even before reaching the top. Why on the top? So that the fruits of that Kapil tree will fall down, and then everyone will enjoy the fruits. So now the cowherd boy says, whoa, you kill a baby calf. He says, no, but he's a demon. Internally he's a demon, externally he's a baby calf. You cannot do that. You have to atone for your sin. He may be a demon inside, but outside he's a calf. According to Dharma, you cannot kill anyone, especially cow or calf. Okay. At that time, they were in that area, in Govardhan. Manasaganga is considered as the Manasaganga is considered as the neck of Govardhan Hill. So he thought to invite Ganga. And so Ganga appeared. Around that time also, the cowherd man, along with Nanda Maharaj and the gopis and the gopas, elderly gopas, they heard a story of Garuda catching a snake. And while traveling, the tail of the snake touched Ganga. After touching the tail with the Ganges water, the snake transformed into four-arm form Vaikuntha man. So now, Nanda Maharaj says, we should go to Ganga, take a bath. This is amazing. So they made a plan. They started to roll their rotis and preparing their prasad and everything. And young Krishna says, Pitaji, what are you doing? Oh, we're going to Ganga because we've heard we're going to go for pilgrimage. We want to go and take bath there. I said, Ganga, you don't have to go there. Ganga is present here in Govardhan. Manasa Ganga. Why don't you come with me? I'll show you. So they all came, and with the wish of Lord Krishna, he also invited Ganga Devi, personified, along with her carrier of Ganga. Yes, he's reading the books. Crocodile. So now, where the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they saw Ganga Devi. So this must be Ganga. This must be Ganga. So in the past times, in the boat festival, one day, it's just almost getting dark, and the gopis, headed by Shrimati Radharani, Lalita Visakha, they were carrying their wares, containers of yogurt, butter, sweet milks, sweet meats. It says sweet meats. And they wanted to cross the Manisiganga so they can reach Vrindavan. So there is no boat around. But there is this one boat, and dilapidated. That means it's like very rude. And there is this one young boatman. He's wearing his red gamcha, and also gamcha on his, as a turban. So they don't have any choice. So they call him, "Oh, Nokadari! Nokadari! can you please take us across? Because it's getting dark and no one is around. He says, okay, but I have a fare. You have to pay a price in order for me to get you to cross. He says, what? Well, you have to pay me milk sweets, some yogurt and butter. Okay, let's go. No, before we go, give me some first, to be sure. So we started eating. And then, okay, let's go. So he started to row your boat. Okay, you know, like this. And then in the middle, he stopped. So the gopis asked, why are you stopping? Well, I'm hungry. I'm still hungry. I want more of your yogurt and butter and some sweetmeats. So they gave him more. Gave him more. Fill him up to here. And he says, well, I have to take rest. Why? Well, I'm so full, I need some rest. Let me lie down on my left-hand side. It's like devotees, you know, after prasad, Prabhupada says you can do that. So it's authorized to take rest on left-hand side after prasad. Okay, now I need some massage with my hands and my head. Somebody please massage my hands. If you ask us this, we'll throw you to the Ganga, Manasa Ganga. So he stood up again, he stood up, started to row. And then he says, we started to sink. I want you all to throw your containers of sweet milks, butter and yogurt. Still, the water is coming in. Now I want you to throw your jewelries. So they start to throw also the jewelries. I said, no, we're still sinking. I want you to throw your clothes. Uh-oh, this is something else. We're going to beat you up. This is not proper. You're taking advantage of us. So he started to row again, trying to cross. But then, within his mind, Lord Krishna, he called upon clouds, dark clouds, and some storm to come. Some wind also. And so he says, well, we are in big trouble. There's a storm coming up right now. We were not going to survive. This is our fate. Our destiny is that we're going to be sinking here. So immediately after hearing this, Srimati Radharani, she came close, so close to the boatman and grabbed his arms, trying to plead and ask for some help. But somehow, she kind of like feel that there is this one very long kind of stick, and she found out that this is a flute. So there is nobody else who always accompanied by the flute along with him except Krishna. So she found out this is, the boatman is disguised. This is actually Krishna. Immediately she pulled that flute from the waist of Lord Krishna, and she showed this to Lalita and Vishaka, and immediately they all says that, oh, it is you. You're doing some pranks on us. Actually, it is you. So immediately all the clouds and the wind stop, and they enjoy the pastimes of the boat. See, Lord Krishna comes to the material world not just to kill the demons. The demons will be killed anyway by time. Time I am the destroyer, everything. To establish principles of religion, he doesn't come to come also, Because his devotees can do that. Specifically, Lord Krishna comes to please his devotees. And it says in the Shastras, to attract the conditioned souls, to go back home, back to Godhead. So these different pastimes of the Supreme Lord are unlimited. Some are present in the material world, some in the spiritual world. Some of these pastimes in the spiritual world also happens in the material world, but not all the pastimes in the material world happens in the spiritual world. Some of them are only in the material world. Krishna performed his human-like pastimes, but superhuman, to attract the conditioned souls like us, so that we can give up all of these material desires and be attracted to these pastimes, and this will give us impetus to go back home, back to the spiritual world. So today is a very, very kind of like a fun time for us, especially for the young children. We try to tell them not to do it, but still we cannot stop them from jumping inside the water, underwater. It should remind us that someday, hopefully, we'll be able to see these pastimes of the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world by witnessing this kind of festivals. Our consciousness becomes purified, our heart becomes cleansed from so many lifetimes of sinful desires, sinful reactions. Many of our nartas will be wiped out if you do it in the mood of serving the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments you want to add or subtract?
Any questions?
Yes, sir.
It would seem that under a perfect varnashram system, amongst the ashrams, the great majority would be householders.
Yes.
And under the varnas, the great majority would be Shudras.
You're right.
Just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We mentioned that. We mentioned that. We don't expect, everyone to be celibate monks, but yes, as grihastas, they should be also grihasta brahmacharis. As Prabhupada mentioned one time, grihasta sannyas, because sannyas means being engaged 24 hours in Krishna consciousness. It's not that being grihasta means only 10% and then 90% with family and sense enjoyment and 10% spirituality. No. Balancing spiritual and material means focus more on the spiritual, because you cannot really balance it 50-50. If you focus more in the spiritual, then automatically everything is covered. Yes. That's why one of the ways how we are now in a transition of turning to what Prabhupada instructed us to do after he left. We have to follow still what his instructions, like as mentioned many times in these classes, 50% of his mission is not complete because he's not able to implement this Varnashram program. But even his Guru Maharaj, this is his priority, Varnashram program. that he is very against this caste system. He's very against that only the Brahmanas has the dominance amongst all the social classes. Everyone is equal. Prabhupada also broke that system whereby he gave everybody chance to uplift themselves. So in order to implement this Daivi Varnashram, we should have mutual respect between Varnas. Everyone's position must be respected. In India, they have this way of thinking that only the pujaris are the best because they are the closest to Thakurji. If you're a pujari in India, you are like, you're the highest. But Prabhupada says no. Even if you're a pot washer, you're the same as the pujari. It's not just, the goal of life is not to become sannyasi. The goal of life is to become a devotee. But we have to act accordingly in such a way that Krishna will be pleased. That is the goal. Anything else?